It's been a busy week for NCPA in the news. President and CEO Alan West has been interviewed nearly every day by Fox News Channel. He's also appeared on Newsmax and Channel 4 in Dallas.
Joining us now, the president and CEO of the National Center for Policy Analysis and a Fox News contributor, Colonel Alan West. Colonel, thanks for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure. Good morning to you, Tucker.
So why is it so difficult to say that we are locked in a war with radical Islam?
Well, first of all, I think that we have to come to understand that when tolerance becomes a one-way street, it leads to cultural suicide. And when you look at the recent speech that was given by Egyptian President al-Sisi and compare it to some of the things that we are seeing in Western civilization, there is no wonder why we have gotten to this point. If you can get Benjamin Netanyahu and Mahmoud Abbas in that same line of leaders, then our president should have been there. The president, who is leaning toward campaign promises and political ideology, is really putting our national security at a higher risk.
And NCPA senior fellows Devin Herrick, Pamela Villarreal, and John R. Graham have been featured in major media outlets that include Forbes, Dallas Morning News, Chicago Tribune, Houston Chronicle, and the Star-Telegram. We published new research this week on litigation prompted by the Affordable Care Act. Senior research fellow Ann Purvis authored the policy backgrounder.
You've all heard about the Supreme Court case that upheld the individual mandate, and you're probably familiar with the Hobby Lobby case. But there are still several other lawsuits finding their way through the court system that challenge the Affordable Care Act. There are cases challenging the religious accommodation to the law's contraceptive requirement. There's a lawsuit contending that Obamacare violates the Constitution's origination clause. And there's another case challenging the Affordable Care Act's Independent Payment Advisory Board. Even the House of Representatives itself has filed a lawsuit against the administration based on its implementation of Obamacare. The most high-profile case heading to the Supreme Court this term is King v. Burwell, involving the premium insurance subsidies the government has given to low-income enrollees. If the plaintiffs in this case win, it will have major consequences for the individual mandate and for the employer mandate. The Supreme Court will hear King v. Burwell in March, and the NCPA will be tracking it, so be sure to follow us.
NCPA social media manager Diana Osuna says our online traffic is up and climbing.
This week at the NCPA, we're pleased to see a tremendous growth and support from all of our followers on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram as we begin this new year and new journey with our new CEO, Lieutenant Colonel Alan B. West. Also, we're giving our supporters the opportunity for the first time to get in touch with our very own policy experts through our social media pages by asking questions or posting a comment. We welcome you to join our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram pages to stay current with the work that we do here, as well as any announcements, exciting news, and events coming up. You won't be disappointed.
And in Washington, D.C., NCPA Legislative Director Brian Williams reports that Congress has been taking on Homeland Security, the Keystone Pipeline, and Obamacare.
The 114th Congress is well underway with congressional hearings and legislation on the floor. The House of Representatives approved the Department of Homeland Security appropriations bill this week, but they denied funding for the President's Executive Amnesty Program. If you remember, right after last year's election, the President announced a new program where he would simply not enforce the nation's immigration laws, and the House denied funding for that. The Senate will take up the Department of Homeland Security bill in the next few weeks. Right now, they are working on the Keystone Pipeline bill. Congressional leaders are trying to decide when to schedule a vote to repeal Obamacare. The vote will probably happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks. The Supreme Court is gearing up to hear a case on Obamacare, deciding the legality of taxpayer subsidies to states that did not set up an Obamacare exchange in the first place. And the congressional leadership wants to send a signal to the court about the unpopularity of Obamacare before the court takes up that bill.
Possible presidential candidate Mike Huckabee will be speaking at a February 4th event. You can find ticket information at ncpa.org. Thank you for your support of the NCPA and the important work we're doing.